Hi everyone, it's Kay from Kay's Creative Home. Well, I was in Hobby Lobby and I saw this adorable ornament of Santa's coat, and I decided I wanted to make some of my own. Now theirs was only $2.50, and let me show you what I made and what it cost me. Let's get started. Welcome to Kay's Creative Home, where we do DIY projects, home decor, home organization, and things that just make your home a little better, a little prettier, just adding some decorations to make it wonderful. Like I said, I was inspired by this cute little Santa coat that I saw in Hobby Lobby. At half price, it was only $2.50, but I decided to come home and make a few of my own, and this is what I did. The first thing I did was to trace out a little pattern for myself, and I made 3 pieces: the back of the coat, the front of the coat, and the sleeve. And then I just traced out a little template for the sides of the hanger. And I got 2 Santa cats from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to take this apart and get started. First thing I did was to lay out my pattern onto the cap, and I kept the fabric doubled like a normal cap. I didn't cut it open. And then I cut out each piece that I would need to make my Santa coat. Then I took the fur trim along the bottom of the cap and I cut that off, and then I laid it out and marked 3 strips that were 1 inch wide, and then I cut those strips, so I ended up with 3 strips of fur to use to trim my coat. The next step was to attach the front and back at the shoulder seams, and I decided, although I'm a seamstress, I decided to use glue so that you could see how to do it if you don't know how to sew. So the main thing I learned by making a few of these was to press down on the glue and push out toward the seam. At first I was just pressing it down to get it to stick, and a lot of the glue got pushed back onto the fabric, and I quickly learned: press down on the glue and push out toward the seam. So some of the glue stuck to this paper I had underneath, but it's like a wax paper, so I was able to just separate it from that easily. Now here I'm attaching the sleeves at the armholes, and that's just at the top of the sleeve. I'm going to do that on both sides. And the next step is to lay out and attach my fur trim to the bottom of the sleeves. After that, I ran glue down one side of the sleeve and then pulled the other side over and glued it down so that the sleeve seam was closed. And then I continued my glue strip under the arm and down the side seams of the coat. And then I'm bringing the front part down onto the back part and pressing down to make this seam close. And now I'm going to repeat the same steps on the other side. I'm going to close the sleeve and then close down the side of the coat. Next, I attached a safety pin so I could turn the sleeve right side out, but decided I didn't need it. I would be able to do it with my fingers. So I'm slowly pushing the sleeve in, pushing and pulling so that I can get it on its right side. If you decide to try to make these coats, just be careful with this part. I've never worked with really tiny clothing like this. I've never done doll clothing or anything. And I found that when I pulled on it like this, it was easy for the seams to come apart, especially because they're glued. So you have to kind of be gentle. And you can see I'm pulling on it so much that the glue is kind of flaking out of the seam of the arm. So I had to kind of go back and touch that up a little bit, pull out some of those glue strands. But I was able to turn both sleeves right side out. The next step was to take one of those 1-inch strips of fur and start gluing it around the edge of the coat. So right now I'm gluing it along the bottom seam. And on this coat I just did a square bottom and to the sides. When I made the next ones I tried to kind of curve it around the bottom, but this one turns out just fine. It's just a different corner. And you'll see when the coats are on the tree how some of them come closed all the way to the bottom because it has a square end, and some of the others are kind of rounded. So I just take my time and work along. Right now I'm on the front of the coat, and I'm about to go around the sleeve, along the neckline, and then I'll come down the other side of the coat.
Bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago,
With that done, I want to fold this fur in so that it'll make one complete piece of fur without you being able to see the backside. So I had to clip around the curve so that it can easily fold in. Otherwise it would be all jumbled up and it would be really thick, and a lot of the fabric would be doubled over. So when you trim it like that, then you can push down little pieces at a time. I don't know if you can kind of see there along the sleeve at the top where I've got little cuts, and it helps it to curve in and it kind of lay on top of each other, but you don't get a really thick bundle, or you don't get it jammed together when you do those little clips in the fabric.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Now that all the trim is done, the next step is to work on my belt. So I decided to use some more of this diamond wrap I have from Dollar Tree, and I just cut off the length that I thought I would need. I turned the coat over, and at about the waistline I glue with a little dot of glue the belt to each side seam, and that's so the belt won't be falling down when I hang it on the tree.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Then I turn the coat over to the front, and I pick up the little bit of black diamond wrap that I had, and I cut it into a square of 3 by 3, and it's going to be my buckle. So I'm cutting a little slit into that buckle so that I can pull my belt through.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is.
Now here I decided to go ahead and glue the coat closed so that it'd be easier to put the belt on, and I wouldn't have to worry about the belt moving or having the belt too big, because I couldn't determine what length I actually needed. So now that the coat is glued closed, it will stay in place, and I can easily determine what length of belt I need. So I'm going to finish fishing it through this buckle, and then once I get that through, I'm going to make sure there's a diamond right in the center of the buckle, and then on the other side I'm gluing the two strips together, the beginning and the end of the buckle. The beginning and end of the belt, so that I have one continuous belt. And then I'm just going to cut over all the extra belt that I have. I'm going to cut that off.
To you and your kin, good tidings for Christmas and a happy New Year.
Now I don't think I showed it here, but I actually put a little dot of glue right underneath the belt buckle too, so that it will stay in place. The next thing is to put a little dab of glue onto the seam of the cuff on the sleeve, and to actually just glue the cuff to the side of the coat. And that again is how the original one was made, and it kind of just keeps things from flapping around when you're hanging it as an ornament on the tree. Now I have this hanger that I've already made. I just took a piece of wire and kind of shaped it into a hanger, and that is 20 gauge wire, I believe. And here's my little Santa coat. I think it's so adorable. So I got to flake off some of the red and white strands that, when you work with this fur, it just seems to shed quite a bit. You got to get all that off, and then I got to pull out some of my glue strands, like here in this sleeve armpit that's showing there. And then I will be ready to hang it on the tree. Now I also used a second Santa hat. I just wanted to show you which one I used. And you'll see some Santa coats made from this too. And that will also be hanging on my tree. So let me show you how it looks. Here's the original one that they had at Hobby Lobby. And here's my Santa coat. I am so happy with how they turned out. I am really going to enjoy having these on the tree. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you'd like to see what other DIYs I'll be doing for the holidays, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you'll be notified as new videos are released. Alright, I thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.